Okay, so everyone's talking, everyone is interacting, the music playing in the background. Hello, I'm from Japan. Hey, I'm from Mexico. Hey, I'm from Brazil. Hi there, I'm from Kenya. The music stops playing abruptly, and everyone's like, "What the?" That's when my alarm goes off, and I wake up. I can see all the puzzled faces. Today, I would like to inform you about Kenya and the general culture, and that's where I'm from, and the significance of the Kenyan flag. Kenya is off the east coast of Africa, and it's bordered by the east, by the Indian Ocean to the east, and the Atlantic Ocean to the west. It's a small country, has an estimated population of 35 million people. This according to the United Nations. And according to the United States Census Bureau, the state of California has a population of 37 million. So it's pretty much the size of California. The capital city is Nairobi. That means capital in the sun. And we gained the independence on 12 December 1963. Kenya has three main groups. With the Nilots, the Bantus, and the Kushites. According to the Kenya government, 38% of the population is Christian, 28% is Catholic, 7% are Muslims, and 14% are indigenous religions. The main group associated with Kenya is most people have watched the San Diego Zoo advert, and that's the Maasai. This is the group with the highest, with the richest culture, and despite the fact that it is the 21st century, this is the only group in most parts of the world that strictly adheres to this culture. They are mostly, the most interesting thing about this group is on the rite of passage, when a young man is turning to an adult, they actually have to kill a lion, and yeah, that's what makes them, I think, the bravest people in the world. And I want to talk about the Kenyan flag. The Kenyan flag, as you can see, has three main colors. The red, the black on the top, that signifies the color. The majority of the people were mostly black, so it's mixed right now. The red signifies the blood that was shed during the fight for independence. And the green signifies the natural wealth. That is, Kenya is mostly agricultural country. Most of the exports are tea, pyrethrum, and sisal. Most of the people greatly rely on farming. And the shield and the spear at the front, this signifies the shield that's protecting all that is the natural wealth, the people. And as you know, Kenya was colonized, so when they were fighting for independence, most of the British had the guns, and all the people they used spears and the shield. So that's also part of their culture. And as you have in the class right here, the American flag, so does the flag. Whenever you have your own flag, it instills a sense of patriotism wherever you may be. Because even in America, you can go along singing. I can come in class and start singing the national anthem. Most of you will be like, you know. But if I have a Kenyan flag with me, maybe in my home or in the backyard, it just instills a sense of patriotism, and it's like a home away from home. And to most people, as my friend talked about the Olympics and the World Cup, most people follow the World Cup from all different areas of the world. You can go to a bar, stay at home, and to support your country, you can have like your own flag. And whenever your country wins a medal or they win something, they usually have like their national flag, and that's the only way you can identify like which country won a medal or how they achieved something. As you can see, that's a picture of someone just won a medal in the Olympics. and also the race after winning the Olympics. And wherever you are in the world, you can identify with whoever won. The main stereotype identified with being a Kenyan is whenever I tell most people I'm from Kenya, the main question they ask me is, can you run? Because actually that's the only medal we win in the Olympics, but the thing is that's the only event that we participate in. So no, I can't run, and yes, I did finish the New York Marathon, but I was in the backseat of the taxi. Hopefully you've learned about Kenya and the people and where it is. So the next time someone says I'm from Kenya, you won't look at them and be like, just be like, yeah, I know what you're saying. Thank you.
Thank you. Ian, what did you think?
I liked it. The attention device was pretty strong. You looked down at the papers a lot. I think you could have looked at the audience a little more. You did a really good job, like, pronunciating everything, like, it was really clear to me. And then, but, like, the picture of Africa, if you could have made that a little bit, or, like, more focused on, I didn't really even see where Kenya was. I know where it is, but it's just because of my geographical skills. But, I enjoyed your speech.
All right. Well, I think you have the advantage of talking about a subject that most people are going to be kind of interested in, and they're not going to be overly familiar with it, so that's good. I like the visualization and the introduction you have, the topics clearly identified. Your thesis and preview seem to be the same thing, basically, and I thought that your preview needed to have a little bit more structure. The biggest thing that I think is a weakness in the presentation is the organization. It just seems to be going from one idea to another without a particular pattern that's being developed. All of the ideas are good and interesting, and sometimes you cite material on it, but not always. You had the information about the populations, for instance, in the comparison to California. That was pretty clearly cited, but the rest of it I didn't think was nearly as well cited. I think part of the problem is that you're trying to let the slides, the transparencies, organize the speech, and so it's you know, here's a visual, and this is what I'm going to be talking about, and here's a visual, and this is what I'm going to be talking about, and I think you need to have a better plan. Plug the transparencies in when they help you explain that section of material instead of letting it lead you through the speech, because I just think that that's the way it ended up being structured. I like the images for the most part. They were large and clear. I'd have to agree with Ian. I thought you should have pointed out where Kenya was on the African map. I know you said it's on the East Coast, on the Indian Ocean, and I have a general memory of where it is, and my geographical skills are pretty good also. But you know what? I don't remember exactly. I mean, looking at the distance, I could admit it's one of those 2 or 3 places right there, and I'm trying to remember which one it is. And the print on the map's too small to see. And then when you put up the outline of the country itself, I'm kind of going back, okay, now which spot was that, you know? And it would have been easier to, you know, just circle it or point your finger at it there. I think you missed a trick there. I thought the flag image is nice and large, and I like the images of the runners with the Kenyan flag as they are winning their Olympic event. I like the humor that you had in at the end when you were talking about, yeah, I finished the marathon in the back of a taxi. I thought that was pretty funny. And more of those kinds of things. But it just seemed like you were jumping through things very quickly. I was expecting to hear more about the different cultures. You mentioned the 3 groups, for instance, and later on I wasn't sure if the 3 groups were the religious groups that you were talking about, if they were ethnic groups that you were referring to. You mentioned the Maasai, and they're the only ones that we got a reference to. I don't know what the other groups are, so I think that kind of, like I said, leaves stuff out. And I think part of it is, again, you're being driven by the transparencies instead of here's what my content is and using those to plug things in. All right. Thank you.